Okay, people, this is my final video. I think I'm gonna end it with supernatural stuff. I don't think I'm gonna go into more detail because everything I have said in the first 3 videos pretty much can be summed up with this supernatural stuff. Again, if you are a child, if you're under the age of 15, please go watch something else. Go watch Teletubbies or Barney or Sesame Street or Electric Company. Go watch something that's more age appropriate that does not have any foul language in it. This video will probably be loaded with foul language just like my other 3 videos on the same topic, and I would greatly appreciate if you don't learn anything nasty or negative from me. You have a lot of people in the world that want to teach you nasty and negative stuff. Those people clearly don't have discipline. I clearly do have discipline. I clearly just don't have enough discipline from my diarrhea of the mouth. So it would behoove you all, if you're under 15, to go that way. Power this bitch off. And if you are a parent and you're okay with that, then you can let your kid watch. I would prefer that your child did not watch before they were 15 years old, because teenagers are going to do what they want. They're going to say what they want. It's really hard to wash out a kid's mouth when you can't catch them. Okay, so here we go. Supernatural stuff. Let's go into it. I've had, and this very well may be a 2-part video while we're at it. I've had a lot of supernatural experiences in my life. My very first supernatural experience started when I was probably 6 years old. My grandfather passed away, and till this day I still believe that I saw him at least once or twice before my Uncle Doc passed away. And then I know that I saw him when I was 9. But in between that, I had a supernatural experience that just never would stop. In that supernatural experience, which I would like to share with you, this is the dawn of my ride into what made me afraid of the dark, what made me pee in the bed, what made me do a lot of things that took a long time to get over. So from the age of 7, I made fun of one of my uncles. I'm going to leave his name off. Because him and his wife had this thing, and his wife was laying beside him the whole time. And this thing was called the Witch Rider, and the witch would ride his back. Me being a little 7-year-old kid, street fighter, a little bit of a martial artist at the time, I was just studying. It was not too long that I would wind up getting bit by a horse thereafter, or before I got bit by the horse. One of the two. My memory's not 1,000% clear on that because of the concussions I've had. I would laugh at him because I didn't believe in that stuff. You know, I was only going to church because I didn't want an ass whooping. That's pretty much the gist of it. I didn't want an ass whooping, so I went to church. Fear of a belt was a lot more than the fear of the lightning bolts coming out of the sky. So I laughed at my uncle. I mean, I literally laughed at him all the time. Whenever I saw him, if we had to go over to Grandma's house, I would laugh at him about that whole witch rider thing. Within a month of me laughing at him, maybe less, but I know from that point on, this thing made its presence known to me. Purposely. Every other night, sometimes it would get me for 30 days straight. Sometimes it would get me, it depends. It varied. But this thing never stopped attacking me until I was like 15 years old. And I mean, this thing would constantly get me. And most of the time, it would get me at nighttime. And I would ask people about it. I would go around to people, and people would look at me like I was insane. Just like you are right now, looking at me like I'm insane. Well, this witch rider thing doesn't just plague me. There are videos of blood paralysis and things on YouTube, and you can find them. Yeah, I don't know if they call them under the witch rider, but for me, I was always told it was the witch rider, not a wraith, and other things. And I've also seen a couple of wraiths. We'll get into that later, which is why this might be a 2-part video. So this thing would attack me. I mean, it literally would attack me with no mercy, anytime, anywhere. As long as I was asleep, I was a victim. This thing got me no matter whose house I was at, no matter how religious they were. This damn thing got me. It wanted me. It got me. It was not cool at all. I would talk to people who have been victims of the witch rider, and they would tell me, "Oh, James, if you sleep on your side, it can't get you." So I started sleeping on my side. Yeah, I guess I slept on the wrong side because it still got me. So I started sleeping on the other side. Now the attacks weren't as frequent as I got older. By the time I hit like 11 or 12, the attacks kind of slowed down a bit, but they still attacked. And I slept on my back, I slept on my side, I slept on my freaking stomach, which was like the one time I slept on my stomach and it got me, and it stopped me from sleeping on my stomach because I was completely immobilized. I could not move. It was there. It's like an elephant sitting on my back, and it was choking me. So it was like back here, and it was just like choking the shit out of me. And the more I struggled, the more I moved. My body would move in my mind, but my body wouldn't move. I could scream at the top of my lungs, but nobody could hear me. Only I could hear me. And it's like a deafening, blood-curdling scream. And I had been scared of the dark for the longest time because of that. So I would sleep with the lights on. Somebody come in and cut off the light, I'd wake back up because I'm scared now. Because, when you sleep, when your eyes are closed, you can see, like if you look at the light with your eyes closed, you can see the color of your skin, and sometimes you can see like the red. The closer the light is to you, if you take a flashlight and you do this, you can see that brightness through your eyelids, especially if your eyes are closed tight. You put it right there. Sometimes it's bright, sometimes it's red, but you can see it if you try. It's kind of like doing one of these numbers and trying to look through, but you can see that through your skin without having your eyes open. So this thing constantly got me. And I mean, it never stopped attacking me until I turned 15. So one night, the last night that it got me, weeks before that actually, let me do that part first. Weeks before, it had got my father, and it had stopped attacking me for a hot minute, so I laughed about it. And I started giggling at my dad because he was a grown man. He also was scared of the dark because of this damn thing. God rest his soul. And he told me about it. So, summer's there. We're having a good time. My dad goes to work at 5:30 every morning when he was alive and when he was working in the city of Smithville. So, town of Smithville, whatever you want to call Smithville. Anyway, so I walk him to the door, lock him out, lock the deadbolt. Back door's locked. It's got this ancient grandpa lock. The key is in the lock. You have to lock it from the inside. You can't lock it from the outside. So we locked the lock. He made sure that I locked the back door lock first. Then he made sure I locked the deadbolt. And all of our windows was sealed with plastic so we can keep the air in. And his one room had the air conditioning and it went through the whole house. Yes. Ghetto ninjanuity. Anyway, so I locked him out. Now, the night before, I had been watching Magnum P.I., the original, All Hail Tom Selleck. And in this episode, Tom Selleck was stranded in the water with a shark. I can't remember if he was wounded. I just know he was standing in the water with the shark. And he magically made the shark disappear. So, I had locked my dad out. And it had to be between 6:30 and 7 o'clock. Because I know that Robotech came on at 7 and Bionic 6 came on at 7:30. Or Bionic 6 came on first and then Robotech. I don't really remember, but I know those cartoons came on that day. But before those cartoons came on, I locked my dad out the house. And about the time those cartoons came on, something was on top of me and I was sleeping on my side with cover. And it was choking me. And I thought it was my dad. I said, "Okay, Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh at you. I'm sorry. How'd you get back in the house?" And as I said that, it got tighter and tighter and tighter. And so I'm at the point where I'm almost like not able to breathe at all. And I have the cover on my head. So I started thinking back to Magnum that night. And he said he's going to make this shark disappear. He's going to count to 3 and the shark's going to disappear. Which Magnum did. And the shark disappeared. Now mind you, I also had just seen one of the Lethal Weapons with Danny Glover and Mel Gibson. And it was the one where they were in the toilet. And he said, "I'm going to count to 3 and I'm going to pull you off this toilet." And he counted 1, 3 and pulled them off the toilet. And it blew up and flew through the house. And he said, "What happened to 2? I think you took that already." But anyway, so I kind of combined them. And I said, "I'm going to count to 3. And I'm going to catch this bastard. I'm not going to let it go. I'm going to prove that it exists." So I did what Gibson's character did. I counted 1 and 3, and I wrapped the cover around it. And it was a little struggle. It wasn't like a big struggle. It wasn't like a all-on brawl with the fucking spirit. But I touched it. And then I was trying to wrap it up in the cover, but I'm also still in the cover. I couldn't see the damn thing, but there was enough cover. I'm a small guy. I was even smaller then. But there's enough cover for both of us to be under there. And I'm wrestling with this thing. And then when I finally got my head out of the cover, I had something in the cover, but I didn't have all of it, and it snatched away from me, and it was gone. It never came back. It never came back. I'm running all through the house looking for my dad, and he's not here. I'm looking all around for him. I don't know his work number, and I didn't want to call him while he was at work. I'm looking under the beds and everything, trying to find my dad, because I thought it was him. Wasn't him. And when I finally get my shit together, Bionic 6 is coming on, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching. I go unlock the back door with the key, and I'm looking all around for my dad. His car's not outside. At least the one he drove to work wasn't outside. In fact, he didn't drive to work that day. He actually rode his bicycle. So I locked that back, and then I'm looking all around the front. Nothing. I walk around the whole house. I go inside the house, everywhere in the house. There's nobody there with me and the fucking goldfish, which one of them did die that day. But anyway, I relock the doors, and I wait until like about lunchtime. So when my dad comes in, I say, "How'd you get in the house to choke me and then disappear?" And he goes, "That wasn't me. I've been at work all day. I've only come here to pick up some lunch, and then I'm going back to work." So we ate lunch together. I told him what happened. And he said, "Well, how did it get out of the house?" I said, "I don't know, but it's not in the house. I looked all over it, and the damn thing never came back. It's never come back to any place I've ever spent the night at. It has never come back after me, and I swore." I jumped a little bit. Let me jump back a second. After I couldn't find it, I screamed up in the sky, I said, "I'm going to prove that you exist. I'm going to die trying. If you ever come after me or anybody in my family, I'm going to catch you. And all I have to do is prove to the world that you exist, and everything will be right." I've never caught it. It's never been back after me. I'm always vigilant on it. I'm no longer afraid to sleep in the dark. In fact, I wait for this damn thing every night. And I want to catch it. So, jumping back to where I was, and my dad and I had lunch and everything, and he's like, "Okay, well, that doesn't make sense. If I'm not in there choking you," it's like, "Well, that witch rider, whatever it is, I'm going to catch it." Until this day, at 45, I'm still trying to catch it. Because trying to prove that it exists is a big fucking problem. But however, I will say this. When you watch supernatural stuff, you have to think about these things, because God is a spirit, and that thing is a spirit. And if I can prove that it exists, then I'm good as gold. Alright? Now, other people have talked about, their witch rider experience with me, and they've said the same thing, but they've never tried to catch it. They just dealt with the incident at the moment, and then they went on about their business, and the thing never really came back. But for me, the bitch plagued me for the age of 7 to the age of 15. And I mean, it plagued me a lot. So it's been my life mission to prove that that bastard exists. Epic failing at that. Let's go to the other supernatural experiences that I've had. So there's this thing called a wraith. Alright? And when you see your own wraith, two things are going to happen. You are either going to die, or you are going to get hurt in some kind of disastrous form. So the first time I seen it, I fell off of a mini cliff. So I had the friend, I'm not going to say his name, but his initials are LR, just in case he's watching. And we were at my house where my dad lived at the time in Smithfield, across from his grandmother's house. And this damn floating head thing kept fucking with us. Now my dad chalked it up to, we scared ourselves from reading all these vampire books and shit, because we did scare ourselves enough that we had garlic the whole fucking house. We literally took a piece of garlic, broke it in half, and garlicked all the doorways of the house, all the windows, everything, you name it. If you could touch it, we put garlic on it. We rubbed that garlic until there was no garlic left. And the house just reeked of garlic. So, we did that, and he would see it, I would see it, he would see it, and we never saw it in the same room at the same time. He would be down in the bathroom, and it would pop his head through the door. I don't know how it would get through the door because he had the door closed, and my door was open. And it would do like this, pop his head in, and pop back out. I'd yell, and then he'd yell, then I'd yell, and then he'd yell, and my dad had to go to work the next day. So then he yelled, and he's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you boys? What is your problem? I tell y'all to stop reading them goddamn vampire books." So, but it wasn't a vampire. And we kept trying to explain, "It's a floating head, it's a floating head." He's like, "Yeah, sure, there's a floating head. If y'all don't go to fuck to sleep." So, we got out of bed, slept back to back. We talked about it before we went to sleep. Fell asleep. Room still reeking of garlic. So the next day we got up, and he has a little sister at this time, and he had to go home because his sister didn't have any friends on the block, or the girls on the block didn't know her and didn't play with her or whatever. I don't know what the story is. Heidi. That was his sister's initials. Anyway, she's a grown woman now. I'm pretty sure she doesn't remember the incident. But he couldn't play unless she could play. So we played G.I. Joe. He decided he wanted to be Falcon, and I was going to be Flint. I really wanted to be Falcon, but since he was my best friend, I let him be Falcon, and I be Flint. So we got really deep into our G.I. Joe roles, right? So we even had our paper berets. I'm sure he doesn't remember that because he made them. And so we had our paper berets on, and his sister was the Baroness. So she threw a pine cone, and again, we were really deep into our roles. I screamed, "Grenade!" Then I lost my footing. I slid down a hill all the way, bust a backflip, hit a pier with my arm, and landed on my face in the water. And my Timex watch kept ticking, by the way. It worked 2 more days after that. So when I came up, because my face, this side of my face, is what hit the rock and the water. This side was dry, but my whole front body was all messed up. If you ever see this cartoon called Transfer Z or Mangler Z, there's a chick on there named Devaline who looks like she's half man, half woman. And she has a line down her face where this side of her is exceptionally light and beautiful and this side's ugly and hideous. Well, anyway, I looked like that when I got up. So I'm up, and I crawl up, and my whole body felt rigid. Like when your hand or your foot falls asleep, imagine that running through your whole body, but like 5 times the power. So I got up, and sorry, funny commercial and bird crap. And I got up, and he's like, "Man, that was awesome. You bust a backflip." And I said, "Well, that would explain why I landed on my face, because I didn't stick the landing." So he's like, "Yeah, you okay?" I was like, "I guess I'm alright, man." So I went home, I changed my clothes, and we had some other things. And like 2 or 3 days later, I think I saw it again. I won't swear to it. I'm pretty sure I saw it again, because I'm climbing up this vine on the tree next to our house, and the bitch snaps, and I bounce off my dad's Cadillac. So yeah. After that, I didn't see it in Smithfield anymore. So I started working in my teenage years. I was working at Kegler's, and I kept seeing this damn thing. And you know, I didn't think anything of it. It's like, "That's a floating head." But every time I saw it, I knew that something was going to happen. And people would tell me, when you see spirits, you have to ask them what they want to make them go away. Well, I never got to ask him what it wants, because I kept seeing it. I seen it for like a week. So, you know, and then when I finally seen it at work, I almost cut off my thumb, because the glass fell, and I tried to catch the glass, and it busted on the door in my hand, and I had to go get like 15 stitches on the inside and 12 on the outside. So my thumb still functions. Thank you, Dr. Kinney, because Dr. Kinney fixed me up. So I had to drive to the hospital. Dr. Kinney was a specialist. They stitched me up, and he stuck that needle through my thing and all this other stuff. And I had to wear this fucked up looking gauntlet thing. I had to wash with a bread bag on my arm. It was awful. But my thumb works. So you would think that that was the end of it, but it's not. So in my 20s, lo and behold, I would see that damn thing again. It's this finger. Dr. Kinney didn't fix this one. It was the middle finger on the same hand. And by the way, for the record, the horse bit these 2 fingers too when I was 7. So, moving back. So I was like 20-something. I was working at Murray Steaks. I seen it twice there, and 2 times there. Some bad shit has happened to me. The first time I saw it, you know, I tried to ignore it, just like I did at Kegler's. I tried to ignore it, but I didn't. And I had to go do inventory. So I had like 20 some odd boxes of fishes, and I had to count them, and it was like on both sides. So, I know y'all see them damn lights. The lights! Recording! Get away from my door! Totally screwing up my video. Anyway, so there's like a ton of boxes of fish on both sides. And I know that the box has a number of fish. So all I have to do is count the boxes because the number's already written on the thing. So however many boxes there are, you write the boxes down and then you times the fish. So that's how that was supposed to happen. But when I went in there, there's also boxes of fish in the front. So I'm counting the boxes. And you know you get that feeling that you really should turn around? You should always go with that feeling. I didn't go with that feeling. When I got that feeling to the point where I really, really, really should have turned around, it was too goddamn late. When I turned around, there was a box of fish in my face. It hit me, and then all the boxes, the ones that were in front of me, the ones that were behind me, buried my ass alive. And I was in the walk-in on the cold ass floor for about 45 minutes before somebody found me in my shoe. It's like, well, James has been doing inventory in the walk-in. I had been in there for so long that no one even noticed I was gone. Then when they finally found me and they undug me out, and then they got me out of the walk-in so that I wouldn't catch hypothermia. So I'm sitting in the store and I'm shaking, and it was summertime, so they let me go outside for a hot minute. And I went outside and I warmed up and I was good. And they asked me what happened, and I said, I don't know what happened. I was bent over counting boxes, and I started from the bottom to the top. When I got to the top of the stack over here, I had this feeling that I needed to look around, but there was nobody else in the walk-in but me. And when I turned around, the boxes hit me in the face. I was down. I wasn't out cold, but I was down. And I was screaming at the top of my lungs, but apparently the boxes muffled my voice, and no one heard me until they actually seen my legs sticking out from the pile of boxes. And so it's funny, but it's not funny. It's probably funny because it didn't happen to y'all. But anyway, the boxes are over top of me. None of the fishes came out because they're all in bags inside the boxes. Like I said, the box has a number of fish in bags in the boxes. And those boxes never opened, as a matter of fact. But all the boxes of fish was buried on top of me. And so when they finally got me out, they restacked the boxes. I didn't have to help them restack the boxes. They wanted me out so that I wouldn't freeze to death. And within 2 weeks, I saw that damn head again. And then I almost cut out my middle finger. Then after that, I never saw it again. Never ever saw it again. Ever. So that was it. So there are supernatural forces out here, and we don't seem to pay attention to them because some of us are special enough that we have second sight. Some of us are special enough that we do see these things, but we chalk it up to overactive imagination, or we find a way to ignore our gut feelings. So my supernatural experiences, you're damn right I believe in the supernatural. And I'm going to stop this video here and make a 5th video. And this video is about Native American dreamwalkers. So that's going to be fun. Probably won't be that long. Thank you guys very much for taking the 23 minutes out of your life, or the 25 minutes out of your life that you will not get back. So thank you guys very much. If I can stop the damn video.